Welcome to my Cabinet of Curiosities.
I'm just going to jump right into it. Today we're talking about episode 2 of Cabinet of Curiosities. So, in this episode, we get to a graveyard in Salem, Massachusetts, I believe. And there's these two grave robbers digging ditches, stealing from graves. Grave robbing. That's what grave robbers do. And the caretaker to the graveyard, Mason, shows up. And he forces the guys to surrender their stuff that they stole. And he shoots a shot in the air and to scare them off. He then proceeds to rob the grave himself. He jumps inside and steals one of the teeth from the corpse. Well, he accidentally drops this and, well, he gets bitten by a rat. Apparently, stealing teeth is pretty big business for Mason. He goes to see a guy named Hans, who he turns over his goods, his hoarded goods that he stole off a dead body. And Hans thinks that he's holding out on him and gives him a week to come up with some better goods. So Mason then goes to the mortuary where he sees a friend, and it happens to be the guy who played Death on Supernatural. Sorry, I'm a huge Supernatural fan. And he's searching all the bodies, looking for something that he wants that be valuable. So he happens upon a body that he wants, and it's a former soldier. This man has lots of gold fillings and gold teeth, and he's being buried with a sword that was given to him by King George V. So the body's going to be interned at his cemetery. So he's at the funeral. He's yucking it up with the family, letting them know he's going to take good care of them. So after the funeral, he goes and digs up the body. That body then gets pulled in by rats. And I'm like, okay, these are some very strong, powerful rats. So he jumps into the coffin and he goes down in there and he's following the rats and where they're taking the body. And he ends up into this tunnel system with giant naked mole rat type creatures attacking him. And then he falls and he lands into this big, huge pit with all these bones. And there's like rings and jewels and stuff from all the people in the bodies that the rats stole and eaten. And then there's this shrine and there's a skeleton. And it's wearing this really nice gold pendant with a big red ruby. Why is it always a big red ruby that's enticing to these criminals? He takes it off the shrine. And we all know, we've seen Indiana Jones. You don't take things off the shrine. So it starts attacking him. He's like, I got you. And then it has him. And so he's fighting with it. He takes the necklace and he's running through the tunnel system. And he's trying to get out. And he thinks he's going to get out. But he does not. He ends up going back through the tunnels, ending up where he started. And he tries to get out through the coffin, but he can't because someone nailed it shut. And he's stuck there. And eventually, a couple of days later, someone throws some dirt on it. Those grave robbers come back and they're like, is that Mason? And then they're looking, and then Mason's mouth opens up and rats start pouring out. So Mason became rat food. But also, one thing that I skipped over, somewhere in the middle of the episode, Mason's sitting in his bed, and then rats just start pouring from the ceiling on top of him. And this happened after he was praying. And I'm like, Mason, this ain't going to go good for you. So this was like if Willard had sent all the rats to attack Mason. And there's a moral to the story about greed and letting it be the death of you. And also grave robbing. He didn't respect the grave. And so he got no respect in his afterlife. So I didn't like this episode. I didn't like it as much as the first one. But it's pretty okay. That's about all I got for you. I'm out.